That fish pie! Oh, if only Hendy hadn't offered it to me as a snack! It was piping hot, so rich and flaky and fresh out of the oven. How could I ignore it on an empty stomach after a night shift? I am only human. No one would have suspected that this delicious pie from the Yawning Black Cat Tavern was poisoned, right? Grandmasters get hungry too, you know!
Huh?
Lady Elizabeth, are you familiar with the Black Cat fish pies also?
Yes, I am. They taste delicious, and they're my father and sister's favorite food too.
Of course they are!
Hello and welcome to Nerd's Kitchen. This is my first video out of many for the upcoming series of food from animes and shows. Today I will be showing you how to make the fish pie from 7 Deadly Sins. I hope you enjoy! In a food processor we are going to add 2 cups of flour as well as half a spoon of sugar and 2 teaspoons of salt. Now don't worry about it. This won't end up making your pie too sweet or too salty. In fact, it will add up a kick that it requires. To that mixture, you're going to dice and cut cubes of butter around inch thick. It's important to refrigerate them before so they're not completely soft and they're able to absorb into the flour as you mix it in the blender. You want to add about 120 grams or 9 tablespoons of unsalted butter. Once it's fully combined, you can see and feel how it's still grainy and sandy and not fully completed. What you're going to do now is prepare another 80 grams of butter that you have frozen beforehand to keep it cool and ready for the mixture. We're going to once again dice it together so we can get a sort of mushy sandy blend that soon will become our dough. Now let's prepare a work surface so we can pour our dough in and start working on it. Now as you can see, the dough is still in the formation of sand. With a little bit of kneading it will form into a beautiful ball that we can then roll out and prep our pie dough with. Once you're finished, make sure to separate it into thirds and a third, so later on we can use it to make the bottom and the top of our pie. Then wrap the 2 pieces in a plastic wrap and let refrigerate. You can refrigerate them for at least 20 minutes or up to overnight. This helps the dough become stronger and more resilient when you are about to roll it out. I'm currently rolling it out into a disc and prepping it into the shape that we will soon put into our mold. Once the pie is set, make sure to place tiny little holes at the bottom of it with a fork. What we're going to do next is called the blind baking. We are going to strengthen the bottom of the pie and make it able to carry all of the food inside without shattering. Using tin foil, we're going to line the pie bottom and add any kind of pie weights that you have. I currently don't have any pie weights, so instead I used rice, which doesn't burn in the oven. This goes into a preheated oven for at least 180 degrees Celsius for 30 minutes. Now, on to our fish. I personally prefer salmon and I feel like it tastes great in this kind of recipe. First we're going to skin the salmon and then dice it up to tiny little cubes. Now we're moving on to our pan. Pour in a little bit of olive oil. We're going to dice a red onion and sear it until it becomes slightly translucent and golden, as you can see here. Now that our onion is beautiful and translucent, we prep it and add it to our fish. This is a good moment to talk about our spices. There are plentiful spices that can help this pie stand out. However, I believe that salmon is tasty enough fish that lets it go on together with simple spices. What I'm using today is dried thyme, which I'm going to add about 3 stalks, half a teaspoon of pepper, a teaspoon of salt, and around a cup of your favorite cheese. I chose to go with mozzarella because I think it's a great melting cheese and personally I don't find it too expensive. Oh, and I almost forgot oregano. Don't forget half a teaspoon of oregano to spice things up. Now we're gonna take a spatula and mix all our filling up and prep to fill our pie, which should be about ready in these 30 minutes. Here comes our pipe, piping hot from the oven. Let's leave the tin full of the rice and look what we have. Look at that, isn't that beautiful? We're gonna fill it up with our filling and prep the last piece of our pie. Taking the leftover dough that we have from earlier, we're going to use it to cover the top of our pie. Now mine stayed in the fridge so it came out a little frozen. Not a problem, of course, we'll let it melt down in room temperature and then shape our pie to the finished product. Now to give it the symbolic view of the 7 deadly things pies, we're gonna cut an X-shaped cut in the middle of it, and of course this will allow the heat to escape from the inside of the pie and prevent cracks from appearing in our pie and ruining our day. Using some egg wash, I cover the top of the pie to give it the extra crisp and look that you can see in the show. Of course, after this follows the top pieces that come on top, and we have our finished pie in a little bit. In the meantime, we wanna keep the oven preheated at 180 degrees Celsius and cook this for about 45 minutes to an hour, and then we can see the final result. And here it comes right out of the oven, piping hot. Look at this beautiful creation. Not only that it's juicy from the salmon, but the smell that comes out of it and the cheesy cheese that comes with it, together with the onions and the spices, make for a beautiful pie. If you enjoyed this tutorial, please make sure to leave a like, subscribe and follow. I'll be uploading more and more videos of this sort of type onto our channel, coming from TV shows, games and all kinds of stuff. If you have any ideas for what kind of foods should I make on the channel, leave a comment below and I'll gladly make whatever you request.